What's in the fucking box?
Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Amazon exclusive Alpha Flight 6-pack overview. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey I'm fucking with. Hype beast we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Alright, here we go. Canada's premier super team Alpha Flight, which we got word that we would be getting this 6-pack earlier this year at Fan Expo 2019 in Canada. Shout out to my man Kev, who was the ACBA correspondent out there, and he got to chop it up with Dwight and with Ryan, and that was pretty cool. So this came pretty fast, as most Marvel Legends have been coming out as of late. You know, it's been rapid fire. We haven't really gotten a reprieve, but I'm really happy to get this set. I'm even happier that they actually put 6 figures in one set. So Snowbird, Shaman, Aurora, Vindicator, Puck, and North Star were included in this set. We did get Guardian single carded in the Wendigo Build-A-Figure wave, and Sasquatch was a Build-A-Figure. He was part of his own wave, I guess. So that puts together 8 members of this team, and we actually still missing one member. I suppose if they really wanted to complete this team, they would give us a Marina figure at some point. And I think they will. I don't see why they won't. I think she is one of the original members from the team, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how she would pop up in any other wave, but you know, stranger things have happened. They have put some C and D list characters out and wave single carded, so we'll see what happens with that. It should be noted that Alpha Flight's first appearance was in Uncanny X-Men number 120. They were partly created as a backstory for Wolverine's origin, basically being that, you know, they're a Canadian super team. Wolverine is Canadian by origin, but they did have their own series from 1983 to 1994, and they made quite a few appearances throughout Marvel Comics over the years, even made an appearance in the X-Men animated series, which I'm sure a lot of you are rocking with right now, being that it is part of Disney Plus streaming service. But yeah, Alpha Flight has a pretty rich history in Marvel Comics. In more modern times, you saw Alpha Flight show up in the pages of New Avengers. This is around the time when Bendis was doing his thing on Avengers, New Avengers, and during the time where they had the 50-state initiative, which I thought was a really cool thing in the comic books. It was sort of like sanctioned teams for each part of the United States and throughout the globe and stuff like that. But you saw Alpha Flight seemingly killed in the pages of New Avengers. I think every member except Sasquatch at the time. And then you saw a sort of new Alpha Flight, Omega Flight, birth out of that catastrophe, basically. And I'd like to see us get all of the characters for Omega Flight at some point. And you saw the person who seemingly killed the team take over as the team leader, take over as the new Guardian too. But then you saw each of these people kind of trickle out over time and make appearances in comic books since the initiative. I don't know if that was retconned or what. I'm not 100% sure about that. The 2 characters that I think have shown up the most as of late or in more recent times is probably Sasquatch and Puck. I believe Puck was working as part of the Avengers as like a engineer or something, working with Captain Marvel, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I've seen him in the pages of some Avengers book or something like that. Like I mentioned in the opening, this was an Amazon exclusive, so if you pre-ordered this, I guess when it kind of first popped up for pre-order, which was pretty much during the Fan Expo, or maybe like the next day after the Fan Expo was concluded, then yours should be shipping now. A lot of people already had this for a few days. I've had it for a couple days, but you know, I'm just getting around to chronicling the figures. So that's what I'll do. I'll go over each individual figure and give you a little insight and wrap this up and get out of here. Taking a look at Michael Two Youngman, aka Shaman. He is from Calgary, Alberta, from Canada. As you can tell, he is Native American, and he is on the standard Bucky cap buck. The hands are removable, the gauntlets are removable, those are separate pieces, as is his little loincloth thing here. Obviously if you separated the upper torso from the pelvis, you could take this off or just cut it or whatever you want to do there. I will say that the head sculpt here looks really nice. I think they did a good job with the skin tone as well. You know, he looks olive skinned, he doesn't look like a typical white man, and this looks to be a brand new head sculpt. I think this looks very good. You guys know the articulation as far as the Bucky Cat mold goes. His paint applications are okay. There is a little bit of bleed with the green and the yellow here, but I don't really have an issue. I wish he would have been packed in with a couple of different hands, but because you can remove these, then you do have other options from previous figures. Narya, aka Snowbird, is a demigoddess actually, and she is from the Northwest Territories, and she has the ability to change into any animal from the north. So an owl, polar bear. As a matter of fact, that old Toy Biz box set had a couple of pack-ins that I think I may still have of what's supposed to be her represented as an owl and as a little polar bear. It looked like a baby polar bear that was packed. Unfortunately, nothing like that was packed in this set. No extra hands. Again, like I always say, the heads and hands make the figures, as far as you being able to give them different expressions and do different things in terms of displaying goes. But her paint is pretty good. I've been pretty lucky here. The hair sculpt is decent, so it's not hindering her articulation too much. It's a pretty typical buck for some of the female figures, and she does have double jointed elbows, or what can be considered a double jointed elbow. It's a little different than how the male elbows work, but it's a step in the right direction, and I've got to give Hasbro some props for that. And again, not too bad in terms of the paint applications. I think this head sculpt may be new as well. I do see a little paint imperfection there on the face. I should probably be able to clean that up with a little alcohol. This cloak is a separate part. Her head can be removed, and you can remove the cloak. And it is a soft plastic, so that's pretty cool. It would be nice to see somebody put together a soft goods cloak to change this up a bit. Looking at Jean-Paul Boubier. I guess that's how you pronounce the last name. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You guys know I'm famous for mispronouncing stuff. But aka North Star, and his sister here, Aurora, who is Jean-Marie Boubier. So they're like Marvel's version of like the Wonder Twins or something like that. They both have the power of super speed and flight, and then they have some ability to do light manipulation. I believe when they are together is the only way they can do those. Can display that power set with the light manipulation. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I'm not the world's most expert on Alpha Flight, but they look good. Their costumes look pretty good. It looks like I think this is the Bullseye buck as well. So very good choice in my opinion. And again, the head sculpt here looks very good. Paint applications on this guy are okay. Not too many imperfections. Again, it would have been nice to see some interchangeable hands, maybe some open sort of flat hands to simulate when he's in flight. Should also be known that North Star is gay. That was probably one of the first like gay characters that I knew of in the comics, aside from maybe like Richter, I guess. And taking a look at Aurora, who looks very good too, and something interesting here with her, and just like with Snowbird, is that she does have double jointed elbows. However, I have not bent the elbows just yet on her because they are not bending, and I saw some pictures of some snaps, so I got to go ahead and heat these up. But kudos, Hasbro. Good job as that is concerned. Again, another nice head sculpt. That seems to be the reoccurring theme here, is that they are very good, unique new head sculpts for the figures in this set. Looking at Heather Hudson, aka Vindicator. She has the ability of flight. She can generate force fields, and she has some ability over geothermal energies, if I'm not mistaken. Vindicator is from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. She is the wife of James Hudson, aka Guardian, and you can see how they have matching outfits similar to Aurora and North Star. However, the reds don't match up, and I'm not sure if they're supposed to, but it looks like Vindicator's red is a little darker Then Guardian, I really hate Guardian's head sculpt. I want to get a new head sculpt for Guardian so bad. But again, the same theme, no interchangeable hands. However, the hands from Aurora can be interchanged with Vindicator, so you can give her 2 fists or and another open hand on the right hand and mix and match and do what you want to do as far as that's concerned. So that's pretty cool. And her hair is has some articulation. It'll spin. It's sort of on like a little ball joint there as well. But again, typical female articulation. Her upper torso is a little more articulated than some of the other females, but you can definitely get her into a decent flight pose. Again, I would have liked to see 2 sort of flat open hands with her, but not bad, and she does look pretty good alongside Guardian. I think her goggles might actually be just a little too large. Paint applications, okay. I think I did all right with this set. It was a decent set. You can see a little speck of red there that I can probably take off with a little alcohol wipe. Eugene Judd, aka Puck, is from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Again, I am the worst at pronouncing names and places, but it is what it is. He has the ability of enhanced strength, almost, I guess, superhuman strength, and he is like a mutant gifted acrobat, so he can do flips and cartwheels and roll himself into a little ball, and you know, he's hard to hit, hard to capture, and he is a bouncer in his off time when he's not running around with Alpha Flight. So he's the smallest member of the crew. He is a dwarf, and he's flanked back there by the largest member of the crew, which is Sasquatch, that Build-A-Figure that we got some time ago. One of the best Build-A-Figures from Marvel Legends, in my personal opinion. I am a little disappointed with this figure overall. I was thinking that maybe they would change some things around for this guy or give us a bit extra. They did change some things. So I do have the original Build-A-Figure here to compare him with. And as you can see, the original BAF here on the left has a more shinier finish on the suit. So that's the difference in suits, and there is a difference in the head sculpts as well. So you can see the newer version from the box set has a larger head sculpt. His mustache is a little different. I prefer the newer head sculpt, honestly. He looks a little sad and lonely with the Build-A-Figure version. But they didn't give us any interchangeable hands. You know, it is still one solid piece as far as the upper torso goes. So there's no ab crunch or anything like that. You know, he's not represented well as far as his power set goes, unfortunately. And this hand is really annoying. There's not really much you can do. I would have liked them to pack in an additional fist or something, because you can pop these hands out. It looks like the little bit of paint on his arm to represent his hair might be a little darker on the original Build-A-Figure version too. I don't know how well that's showing up. Let's see if you can swap the heads. So yeah, you can swap. I do like the newer box set head on the older body. I do like that. I think that looks pretty good. So if you were able to pick up the original Build-A-Figure, you do have an option for swapping the heads at the very least. But again, the articulation is pretty lackluster. You know, shoulders will rotate, single jointed elbow, that'll rotate. The hands will rotate, but they don't really hinge, unfortunately. Legs will come up pretty far, single jointed knee. You get rotation at the upper boot, and you get a hinge and a pivot on the foot. So not the greatest, man. Really disappointing with Puck. All right, I'm getting up out of here. This is a good set. It's one I would highly recommend. I'm happy overall with my figures in the set. You know, sometimes when you buy these box sets and there's multiple figures in the set, it could be hit or miss. You know, you can get one that's just truly a mess in terms of paint applications. But, you know, my set was okay. Hopefully most of the ones that come from Amazon are decent. But the good thing about Amazon is that you can return just about anything and they'll give you a replacement or a refund or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, get out there. If you haven't pre-ordered this already, get on Amazon and do it, because I don't see any of these figures being re-released single carded again. Honestly, this is probably going to be it for putting together your Alpha Flight, your classic Alpha Flight team. All right. Another thing I forgot to mention is Shaman's power set, but obviously he is sort of like a master of the mystic arts in the same vein as Brother Voodoo or Doctor Strange or something like that. So he is a magic wielder. All right. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.